Hey guys, Zach here at etrailer.Com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Stromberg Carlson 5,000 pound electric trailer jack. This is going to be a really good electric jack if you're looking to upgrade to an electric jack, or you're looking to replace another one that maybe is just a little worn and tired. I like this one a lot, and this one's super popular. It's really effective. It's going to have a really high capacity, so you can put this on some campers or enclosed trailers like we have here. But it's also pretty quiet. It's not the fastest in the world, but I think it does a really good job of doing what it's supposed to do, and that's just making it a lot easier so you don't have to use a manual crank on your trailer. When it comes to electric jacks, you're getting one because you want it to be easy to use. You don't want to get to the campsite, unhooking your trailer, and doing the manual crank old style. This is going to be really simple. It just has a little toggle switch here that's rubber coated for extending and retracting the jack, and then has a second one for a light. Now the light is going to be on both sides, and it's hard to see here because it's so sunny today, but it does an okay job of illuminating. We've used this one before, and we've put several jacks on around here that have lights on. It's not the brightest in the world, but it's definitely not the dimmest. It's going to do an okay job of illuminating the area whenever you're hooking up at night. But this isn't something that I would really rely on lighting up the whole area, but just the coupler, it's going to do an okay job. If you're in the market for an electric jack, whether you're replacing an old one or you're getting one for the first time, there are definitely more affordable options out there, but a lot of people say they have to replace those all the time. We get a lot of compliments on how durable this one is. And when it comes to noise, I don't think it's very loud at all. I'm not having to talk any louder for you guys to hear me. I don't have the biggest load with this enclosed trailer on here, but even with a big camper, people seem to be pretty happy with how quiet it is. Now when it comes to speed, I don't think it's any faster than any other ones out there. I don't think it's any slower though either. I think it's pretty on par with most out there. But overall, people are really happy with how dependable it is, how quiet, and that it has a really high capacity so they can put it on all kinds of different trailers. When it comes to the durability of this, the housing that's covering up our motor and all the gears, that's a really durable plastic housing. There's not a lot of give to it. I think it's going to do a good job. It's pretty sealed up. I don't really see any issues with water getting in there. And then the black steel is going to be black powder coated here. And then down on the inner tube is going to have a zinc coating on it. So this overall is going to do a really good job of holding up against rust and corrosion. On top is a bubble level to make sure that your trailer is level. And if for some reason you lose power to your trailer, whether your battery's dead or you don't have power on your vehicle to hook up, an included tool to make sure that you're not stranded so you can get this. So even though we're getting this to not have a manual crank, you're not stranded if you do lose power. So this is a really nice tool that's included that you can keep in your trailer. The 12-volt motor gets its power through the included power wire and also the included fuse and fuse holder. Now I have this connected to my battery inside my trailer, so I did have to provide one extra heat shrink butt connector, and then I get my ground through the bolts in the frame that connects the jack to the trailer. Now the drop leg is going to have a 5-inch drop on it, and there's going to be holes there every inch to allow us to kind of fine-tune it or quickly get that up or lower it down to make our time with lowering this a little bit faster. And then on the foot plate here, it's going to be 5.5 inches in diameter. So that's a pretty good size, and that's going to just kind of spread out the energy that our trailers. So we have this in a concrete parking lot today, but if we didn't have this foot plate and we were in a soft lot or a field, this would potentially dig down into the ground. So this is going to do a good job of spreading that out if we don't have it parked in a hard lot like this. So now we can take this all the way up, and we're going to see what the travel is on this. So here in its highest position, and I have that leg extended all the way, I'm getting a measurement of 32 inches. So now we can take it down to its lowest position, and we'll see what that travel is. So then here in its lowest position, we're at about 13.5 inches. So then if we took that 5 inches that we have on that extension down there, that would bring us down. That's going to give us a really good amount of travel. Now, even though this has a really high capacity, you can put it on a smaller trailer if you want. It might be a little overkill, but it's probably going to be a little bit faster than the smaller jack, and I think that I'd rather have a larger jack on a smaller trailer than the other way around, so you're not wearing it out faster. But this is going to work out really good, especially if you have those big campers. It's quiet. People say it's really dependable. It's not too bad to install. So let's just show you how we got it put on this trailer today. A couple of things before we begin our installation is you want to make sure that your tires are chocked, you're on as level a surface as possible, and I'm using some jack stands to keep my trailer elevated today. I went ahead and removed my old jack, pulled the pin and clip off our leg there, and I'm going to drop this in place. Now your new jack is going to come with a piece of tape over one of the holes, and when you take that off, there's going to be some bare metal there, and that's intended to provide a good ground for this. So then we can take our hardware that's included, and we'll put that washer on that bolt, and we'll start dropping those down and threading those into place. So that's the nice thing about this. This hardware usually is fairly universal on the size. It's grade 5, but since it's included, that's a nice thing that we don't have to go out and pick up an extra set. So we'll get those put in place, and then we'll get those tightened up. I'm using a 9/16 socket to get these tightened down. Then once you get those down, we can get these torqued down to the specified amount in the instructions. Then we can put our foot plate back in place. I'm going to drop it down a little bit, extend it down, and then we can start making our electrical connections. Now before we make our connections, I'm going to take my fuse holder, I'm going to remove my fuse. I've also gone ahead and unhooked my battery in my trailer. So this all depends on how your trailer's hooked up, but I unhooked the battery, and I have my power coming out of the trailer right here. So I'm going to connect one side of my fuse holder to this and the other side to my power wire coming off of my jack. So I'm going to snip this red wire in two. I'm going to strip back each side of the red wire here, and then I'm going to strip back a little bit on both my power coming from my power source on the trailer and the jack. Once you get all your wires stripped back, you can take the included heat shrink butt connector. We're going to get that crimped down on our fuse holder there. And we'll take the other side and we'll put it on our power wire coming out of our jack. We make sure we have a good connection. And we're going to take another heat shrink butt connector that we're going to have to pick up. We're going to hook it up to our power wire coming off of our battery on our trailer. We've got a good connection there, so now we can take our heat source and start shrinking those down. Once we have those shrink down, we can put our fuse back in, get that put back in place. And then we can head back in the trailer and hook up our battery. And then once we have our battery hooked up, we can make sure that it's running, get all of our excess wire cleaned up there. You can trim that down if you want. We wanted to leave it a little bit on there just for maintenance down the road if we ever needed to work on that. But get this lifted up and get those jack stands taken out. Looks like we're good to go. That's going to do it for a look at the Stromberg Carlson electric trailer jack.